And here we are back in the cave. This is in the wintertime, cold outside, boy. Ken slogging through one of the wet passageways. This cave came up into some people's backyard, and just climbing a wall, some cave down around in Huzo Park there. The end of the line. Water come to the top of the roof. This is coming back down the hill from that cave up there along north of Collinsville. I mean, come down a big bluff right onto the highway. There's Ken coming down. And here we are getting back in the car. Everybody's about froze. It's cold on the highway, remember? There's George and Ken. They loaned Ken a big set of hip boots, hip waders to keep him getting wet. And when he bent down and crawled through the water, he got him full of water. So he's about to freeze to death out there. A big column in the mushroom cave. And you can tell by it at one time it was connected together, so it was broken years ago some way. There's a big cave system down in Huzo Park there. The lantern shot of the column. At one time had an earthquake or something down there, because a lot of the columns were broken just like that. The back entrance they found of the mushroom cave, and they found out he got his name from mushroom. Somebody used to grow mushrooms in there, so that they put a dug an entrance into the back of the cave. There's a group from the district office we took with us. It's George Jaggers, and I think he finally married that gal on our far left over there. There's a group shot. There's that, I think her name was Julie, Janice May, George, Eric, and that girl over there was Margot, and this guy here was in the Coast Guard. He was a Coast Guard photographer. And he went down and took a bunch of pictures that day. He was taking a picture of Eric. Later on, he gave us a big old blowed up black and white picture. And he went around telling everybody at the district office that was one of the best kid pictures he ever took. Eric and Julie at another entrance we found to the cave. Popped out of there. This is another cave site. It's back along the state park there. It was called Onyx Cave. It's a big, gigantic cave. It's the entrance. There's George and Julie there, moving some debris. There's Eric and Janice May in the entrance way. There's George setting up to take some pictures back in the way back in the cave in one of the passageways. We are suiting up to go into some other cave. It must be down around St. Louis somewhere. I don't know exactly where it's at, but we're definitely suiting up for a cave. It's Janice May and George. Can't see this too well, but that's Eric in a big hole back in the one of those high dry passageways in that cave, and that's known as a bear wallow. That's where the old bears used to go back and hibernate in those high dry sections of the cave, and they dig out a big hole into the dry sand or dirt and fill it full of leaves. And that's what that is. That's a bear wallow. Just one of the upper level passageways. That's how you could get into it. Sort of climbed up that pole and went up in there, and you got up there and there's a big brass plaque. This passageway led out into a big room about and you could drop about 100 foot, and there's a big brass plaque in memory of some caver. I guess he went out there and he crawled too far and fell out into that room. It's what they called a natural cave shot. Everybody got in a circle like, and you put the lights, your carbide lamps, up in one of those face, and you took a time exposure. This is what it actually almost looks like in a cave. It's just one of the big columns that was back in there. A lot of flowstone. The cave was really something else. And there we are, a group shot. A little piece of trivia here. That was Eric there, and it's Janice May, and Tony's there too, really. Miss May was about 4 or 5 months pregnant then. Another shot of the column. You looking at the column over and one of the columns back in there. Another group shot. Here's another wall of flowstone. It is just white, sparkled. That's Miss May and Eric up there. It's Charles and Eric. Charles, there you go. Charles, Eric, and George. This is a family caving trip. That's Cecil, Dolores, Eric, Just May, Jane, and Jerry. We're over to a little place up there by Palmyra. It's called Oster's Cave. We went out there one weekend. This is us traipsing over the hill to Oster's Cave. This is Jerry, and I think this is Dolores in the background. That's back in one of the little formation rooms of Oster's. This man and Dolores back in the a bunch of the slagged tights and columns back here in Oster's. Jerry again. Jerry again. And there's Eric. Slipping and sliding. Cecil and Eric. Cecil giving Eric a boost. Cecil coming out the entrance. There's Eric and Mom. Back in Oster's. This was probably around 1969. There's Jane. And there's Jane and Dolores. There's Jane coming out the entrance. I think she found some sort of big old bone there. Or carried it out with her. Jerry, he made it. Here we are rigged up to, Cecil and Jerry were rigged up to go in a little cave out there by Greenville. The old 70 square back there. Yeah, that's